What's up, YouTube? Peace, metal. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about an issue a lot of hard rock, metalheads debate about, and that is Aerosmith, and more specifically, which one of these is better, Toys in the Attic or Rocks? And many fans will put these at the top two. I mean, they're two of the greatest hard rock albums ever made. Which one do I prefer? Get into it in a second. I even got my Get a Grip Cow Titty shirt on. And since they're going on their final tour next month, and the fucking prices, these stupid assholes today, and they're, no box office, and, everything's cashless, driving the price up. I'd like to see them again, but probably won't happen. Anyway, before I get started, I want to say I'll probably do a ranking video of Aerosmith. I don't have the last two. I don't want to really spend my money on shitty albums I don't like Music from Another Dimension and Honkin' on Bobo. That's going to be last automatically just because it's a stupid covers album. But I could just talk about them all but those because they're on the bottom three anyway. And I'll think about it. And I probably will make one just because it's coming up in their final tour and we'll see what happens. So, third album, Toys in the Attic, after a fantastic second album, Get Your Wings, which is also one of my favorite Aerosmith records, and a pretty good, decent, solid debut, self-titled with Dream On, Mama Kin, and so forth on it. And then they followed up with Rocks. So you can make a case for either of these albums, and they mirror each other. I mean, because you got Toys in the Attic and Back in the Saddle. Both are hard rockers, openers to open the albums. Toys is a little heavier and faster paced. But Back in the Saddle, my gosh, classic song. That slow driven in the beginning and that, guitar riff that builds up. And he's like, back in the saddle again. Classic, one of the best Aerosmith albums. Toys in the Attic, great opener too. Like I said, Toys in the Attic. It's almost like a speed metal, early speed metal type song. But it's great. I want to go with Back in the Saddle just because it's a better song in my opinion. Uncle Salty and Last Child, also both awesome. Uncle Salty, not really a famous Aerosmith hit, talking about an abused girl and like a boarding school, I think, and get child abuse by the leader, Uncle Salty, and it's a really sad, depressing song. But then you have Last Child, which is also one of my favorite Aerosmith songs, back to back, probably the best two lead-off songs Aerosmith ever done, the open album, Back in the Saddle, Last Child, and I think Last Child easily takes this one, although I like Uncle Salty, but it's just another great Joe Perry riff. Dun, 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 dun. Last child, just a punk in the street. Great fucking song. And then third, Adam's Apple, Rats in the Cellar. Rats in the Cellar kind of mirrors Toys in the Attic. It's a pretty fast-paced song. Rats in the cellar, real fast. But I'm going to give it to Adam's Apple just because of its quirkiness. It's talking about fellatio and blowjobs. She tasted, yeah, it was love at first bite. But they used Adam and Eve, kind of a backdrop for oral sex. So it's pretty comical. I think it's a better song. It's catchier. So that one goes to Toys in the Attic. But I will say about Toys in the Attic, it's maybe the most sleaziest hard rock, no fucks giving album ever. You got Toys in the Attic, but written supposedly about the teenager that Steven Tyler got pregnant in the 70s, of course, and then the child abuse, Uncle Salty, then blowjobs. It's just like, what the fuck. Big 10-inch record is the cover, but it sounds like sexual when he sings it. Talk about his big 10-inch, then he pauses, record. It's like, this is definitely the sleaziest Aerosmith record and one of the sleaziest sexual records ever. Fourth song was Walk This Way and Combination. This one's not close. Walk This Way, classic song. I hate you, Rick Rubin, for putting rap in the spotlight with rock, and now when they redid it with Run DMC, it probably would have been there now anyway, but it fast tracked it. My opinions on rap, but the original's awesome. Another great guitar riff by Joe, and it's just classic. One of the best intros. Um, what's next? Fifth, Sick as a Dog, or Big 10-inch record. Got to go with Sick as a Dog because that's just like a Big 10-inch record. Comical, you know, but it's a cover of like a 50s song or something, like a doo-wop song. It's okay, but Sick as a Dog, da, 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 da. It's a better song overall. It's a decent Aerosmith song. Pretty good compliment to the album. Let's see what's next. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's more songs on this one, but maybe I could be wrong. Sweet Emotion or Nobody's Fault. This one's a tough one because Sweet Emotion is the classic Aerosmith big hit. Talking about phone sex, and here the woman's like big overweight, and but it's a great song. Stand in the corner, Jesus shaking your ass. I love how he says that. He's like ass. Da, 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 da. Another great guitar riff. But I want to go with this Nobody's Fault. It's not a hit per se, but it might be their hardest, heaviest song that Aerosmith's ever released, and it's one of Slash's favorite songs. And that song, he said, got him into guitar playing. This whole album rocks, he said, got him into guitar playing. Testament did a cover of this song. It's awesome, fucking kick-ass cover. It's just that the whole riff. Now he's known it, man, he's blown it upside down, and hell's the only sound, and did a much awful job, and now I'm just a little too late. It's really fast, heavy, hard, great guitar-driven song, just like most classic 70s Aerosmith from Joe. So it's close, but most people will probably say Sweet Emotion, but Nobody's Fault's definitely the most overlooked, or one of them, and it's their hardest, heaviest song at the time, and maybe their hardest they ever did. And that gets my vote. So next is No More, which is probably the worst song off of Toys in the Attic, and Get the Let Out, which is just an average song on Rocks. I would probably give it to Get the Let Out, but they're both all right. They're nothing like spectacular. Next is Lickin' a Promise and Round and Round. Pretty much similar. They're both pretty decent average songs. I'll probably go to Lickin' a Promise. I like it a little bit more than Round and Round. And then the last two, once again, they mirror each other. You See Me Crying, which is one of the better early Aerosmith ballads. And then, of course, Home Tonight, which is another one of their more famous Aerosmith ballads from the early years. Home Tonight was actually one of the singles from Rocks. And You See Me Crying, I don't think was released as a single. You See Me Crying is more bombastic. It's 5.5 minutes, and there's even like an orchestral part in it. Home Tonight's only like 3 minutes 20 seconds, but I like it a lot more than You See Me Crying. Maybe people don't think that, but so baby, don't let go, just hold on real tight, and I'll be home tonight. I think it gets a better vocal performance from Steven. Like I said, both of these albums are really tight, similar, perfect back-to-back albums. You got, great openers, great ballads to close the records, a lot of great songs in the middle of the record. I prefer Rocks just because it's more, I don't know, this is more stripped down, just hard rock, straight ahead hard rock sound. This one, it's similar, like I said, it has a lot more sleaze elements to it, and it's cheesier. But I just like the songs a little bit more overall, just barely. So I have to give it the Rocks. So what is your opinion on these two albums, Aerosmith in general? Are they your two favorite Aerosmith albums? Obviously, they're my two favorite Aerosmith albums, but the top 5 is really solid. I think I will do a ranking. Like I said, I don't have the last two. But to honor their final tour, hopefully it is their final tour. No Joey Kramer. I mean, they're getting in their 70s. Dude looks like a lady. That's pretty much Steven now. Looks like a grandma. And, all the fighting and drugs and all. They should just call it quits. I mean, they haven't made a good album since maybe Get a Grip, but I would say even before that. So, yeah, that's my ranking, or not really a ranking, but just an analysis of these two great albums. Let me know which ones you prefer, and I will make a ranking video soon on Aerosmith, even if I don't have the final two. So thanks for watching. Keep on rocking. Peace, YouTube. See you soon.